So here's my diabolical plan. Billions. Oh man, my back is gonna be sore, man. Throwing around. I'm throwing around 50 and 40 pound bags of corn all morning. 50 pound bags of grass seed. Morning. Doesn't that look good? Doesn't it look good? It's amazing what happens when you get a little bit of warm move in and a little bit of rain at the same time, and you've got annual ryegrass out. It's amazing. Today, I'm going to talk to you about why some of you may actually want to think about putting some pre-emergent down in January. If you're dealing with winter weeds, mainly Poa Annua is the main thing that you're going to have to deal with. I'll talk a little bit about Poa Annua. What am I doing? I'm about to put down some PGF Complete on my main lawns here. Just a little bit of a punch. Annual ryegrass doesn't need a whole bunch of fertilizer, so I'm just going to put a little bit down. But I'm going to be doing some more seeding. One of the rules I have here on this property is I don't want to see any dirt whatsoever. I never want to see dirt. So like when we put those fields up there, we did one till to open it up, get all the trees and scrubs and create some fields. After that, it's never been in dirt. But that top field, I have so many deer coming into that top field because we have feed stations that they're just, no matter what I put down seed-wise, it's like they're stomping it. So I'm going to use their feet to plant my seed. I ordered 200 pounds of annual ryegrass. I'm going to put about close to 100 pounds up on that top field and just let them stomp it in. Hopefully it'll grow. I did put down cereal rye and I have clover and I got some of that germinating, but I'm going to use the deer to plant my seed up there. I put more seed down here. I put more seed down in the pond. I'll show you that. By the way, make sure that you guys have coming up here, make sure to follow the schedules. Make sure that you guys have the free lawn care guide. It's free. Download it. If you have neighbors that have a crappy lawn, send them the lawn guide. Send them the lawn guide. Put it up on your homeowners association. And it's just so many of you guys have said, Doc, I've followed your guide for the past couple of years and I have the best looking lawn in the neighborhood. And we appreciate you. And I'm glad it worked out for you. So use the lawn guide. Well, now it's a little bit windy. I'm sorry if my audio gets messed up by the wind, but I want to dive right into this pre-emergent and winter weed thing. And here's what you need to understand. Everyone thinks about pre-emergent as a spring. Let's say you have a certain date that you put down pre-emergent, and that's for crabgrass, and that's not what we're talking about. If you have a weed that is terrorizing your lawn, like Poa Annua, you want to put down your strongest treatment of pre-emergent when that seed is germinating. And a lot of people think that you want to put pre-emergent down to stop seeds from germinating, and that's not how it works. Now, I've talked about this before, but essentially you want your weed seed to germinate. You want it to germinate, and a lot of people don't understand that. What a pre-emergent does, the majority of pre-emergents, they will stop new cell growth or cell replication. So you want your seed to germinate, but then it can't grow roots, and then the plant dies. Does that make sense? So if you have Poa Annua that's starting to show up in your lawn, go ahead and get some pre-emergent out now. Also do your crabgrass pre-emergent, which is going to be probably sometime in March if you're like us. I think March 15th is my crabgrass date. There's a map. You can find maps that show you your date for crabgrass. But if you have a Poa Annua problem on your lawn, we had a horrible Poa Annua problem on our old house when we first bought it. And you've got to get that pre-emergent down when the seeds are starting to germinate. So it's not a bad idea. In the description below, I'll link to the pre-emergents, the granular, the liquid, whatever you want to use. You can use those. but getting down the pre-emergent when the seed is germinating. So Poa Annua, it's going to germinate probably in December, January. Get your pre-emergent down. If you don't have Poa Annua, then you can hold off until your crabgrass germination date. If you have a few other weeds popping up, that's kind of normal in the wintertime. If you want to, you can go ahead and get a hose end sprayer. The problem with weed killers at this time of year is they're generally less effective when the temperatures are colder. If you have Poa Annua already in your lawn, you can go just buy a bottle, hose end bottle of Image. That's one way to do it, and just spray it with Image. But I'll tell you, it's going to take a long time to work. You probably won't see results for 2 weeks. You will start to see, after 2 weeks, you'll start to see some of it starting to yellow. Now, you do not want to use Roundup. I hear a lot of people saying, just go out and just spray your lawn with Roundup because it's dormant. If you dig down in your Bermuda grass or whatever you have that's dormant, you'll find some green blades. And if you put something down like Roundup on your lawn, you're going to kill whatever is living. So do not use something like that. Do not do that. Have a weed, find what weed killer is going to kill it, and go ahead and spray it. So here's an important note when it comes to pre-emergent. You don't want to put pre-emergent down on lawns that are new. So if you have a newly seeded lawn, don't use pre-emergent until you have had one full growing cycle. Doesn't have to be a year, but a full season of growing. Same thing on seeded lawns. Why? Because the way of pre-emergents work. The majority of pre-emergents stop root growth. So what happens when you put pre-emergent on new sod? It stops the root growth. So typically pre-emergent, when you apply it, it's going to be in that top level of soil. And by the time it starts to work down deep, it's going to lose its effectiveness after about 60 to 90 days. So that's why it's not going to impact the roots that are deeper typically. So anyways, that's why you hold off. Just deal with the weeds for the first growing season and then start it. I guess it's going to be one of those days. I was getting all this crap loaded up to go make up some new chicken feed. John's here. We raced to take trash up to the dumpster. Dumpster guy's popping up. Gate notification for my camera goes off. Home Depot sent my ryegrass seed FedEx. Of course, the girl, they're 2 boxes, 50, 100 pounds each, so I had to help her. So anyways, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bags of annual ryegrass seed because I have to do a real heavy seeding on the pond area. I'm going to do that. Heavy seeding on the backyard, heavy seeding on the natural area, and then I have to do that with 100 pounds because I want to put 100 pounds of this grass in that upper field and just see what the hell happens. Do the pond last.
Okay.
Because I've just put seed out behind the house, so you can cut that on a 2. I'm not putting seed next to the shed, so you can cut that on a 3. And then once I get done making this chicken crap up, food and everything, then I'll put the spreader on mine, and I'll hit that with the automatic spreader. I ain't walking all that and throwing it by hand. And then I'm going to go up and hit the upper field, and then I'll come back and hit this some more.
Gotcha.
All right. Thank you, sir. In case you haven't seen it before, my automatic spreader. So I can turn it on, I can turn it off, and then I can open the gate more or less here. And it has a sliding tray under it that shuts off the feed. And then I can open that more or less and vary my spread rate. So it's a lifesaver when it comes to these fields. I'm doing the pond too. I'm tired of walking already. All right, so here's my diabolical plan. Billions. The deer are up in this field. This is our top field. They're up here so heavy every night that they literally just stomp everything into the ground. Here here's what I came up with. Now I've planted cereal rye and I've got clover and I have some of that germinating. There is some, I'll show you here in a minute, but over there in this main area where they come in here and feed every night, they just trample it to mud. So I got a crap load of annual ryegrass, not cereal rye, just annual ryegrass, and threw it out here. I want roots in the ground. That's one of my big pet peeves, is no dirt, roots in the ground. So it's like I can sit here and just see seed all over here. I know the little birds are coming in here having a blast, but we put corn out in this area. We have a corn feeders here, and look at this. This is just basically it's mud and deer poo and a little bit of growth, but I've got a ton of seed. Now let me come over here and I'll show you a little spot over here where the deer haven't been trampling, and you can see the cereal rye growing. So see that right here? That's cereal rye popping up there. And I've got lots of clover coming up, and I've got cereal rye coming up all over here, but man, I want this thick and green, so I'm put out annual ryegrass. There's a good chance we may, 2 years ago, we made this a cornfield and it was gorgeous until a drought hit. And since I have irrigation that reaches up here now, I may plant corn again up here. I'm seriously considering it. The chickens are gonna be screaming at me, so you have to deal with this. They think every time I come up here, they think I'm going to give them some treats. But I want to show you this. This is a great example. This is turnips, radishes, clover. I want to keep every inch of my property. I want to keep it green. Now, obviously, if you're up north, this isn't going to apply. I mean, -10 degrees, you're going to have a hard time growing stuff. But let me show you something crazy. Let me find one out here. Look at this. Look at that. Is that crazy? Purple top turnips. You will literally sprain your ankle out here walking around, but I pull these all the time and feed them to the chickens. Yeah, I know. I need to go get the rest of the eggs. Oh, look at you guys, huh? All right, so this is my winter garden. If you believe it or not, this is what my winter garden looks like. See how green and lush this is? So you can see that this is a row here that I plant in. That's a row that I plant in. And in between here, this is all clover and turnips. I even have some kale growing in here. And this generally just keeps everything, again, I don't have soil runoff, and it keeps my soil alive. I mean, look over here. Look at this. See how green that is? Not only can I feed it to the chickens, but man, this is so great for my soil. Now we're covering these rows with wood chips, and then hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna have John and Jeff pick up a load of composted cow manure, and we'll put composted cow manure. Then I'm gonna go around, I've got several piles of dead vegetation from here, stuff we pulled up. And I'm gonna get a skid steer and I'm gonna start this huge compost pile. And I'm going to put layer after layer, including dirt booster on top of that. And just let it sit there, and that'll sit there, and next year we can actually use it in here. They're gonna follow me wherever I go. So I'm about to be raped by some chickens, so hold on. Move, please. Move. Gotta move. I'm gonna kick you. You get chicken kicking. You gotta slide your feet, otherwise you'll step on chickens. The only way I can do it. Hold on. And they love their greens. The one thing they absolutely love is they love their greens. $14, $15, $16. $18, $19, $20, $21, $21, $22. So far today, 22 eggs. And I'll probably come up here a little later and pick up a couple more. So I don't want you to freak out because you got a couple weeds popping up in the wintertime, but I really do. If you have Poa Annua and it's a problem, here's what I want you to do. I would rather have you start to deal with that Poa Annua now than 90 days from now when you're starting to think about, hey, I want to encourage my lawn, my Bermuda or zoysia, whatever you have. I want to get that lawn going. Having to put down something negative like a weed killer or something like that on top of a newly growing lawn, I'd much rather have you start to deal with it now. It's hard to deal with it in the wintertime, but I'm telling you, on our old house, the first year we had it, my backyard was almost solid green and it was all Poa Annua. It was a nightmare. So if you have Poa Annua, it's not a big problem unless you really start to see it. And if you start to see it pop up, go ahead and treat it. Now is fine because most of your lawn, most of your Bermuda and warm season grasses, they're pretty much dormant. I'm not doing anything here other than planting annual rye. I'm pounding down that annual rye. I'm going to put down some PGF Complete on here, and that's about it. We're just chilling out until we get to the summertime, and then we'll come back. And again, we've got this going in common Bermuda out here just because of this crappy soil. Anyways, hope you enjoyed it. I'll talk to you later. Doc.